Welcome to this IS-7 replay on Prokhorovka. The IS-7 in this match is being played by MrFabulouz from PTS-D. I have to apologize in advance, but in the past MrFabulouz had sent me a really great E100 replay, but sadly I was too late to record it and I can't record it anymore. But he more than made it up for, or I more than made up for that. With this match, he sent that to me today, and I'm recording it today because I don't want to miss out on a great match anymore. So, IS-7. I've got one myself, played a couple of randoms in it, and I didn't quite like it so far. The reason being that it seems that while a 43% tomato plays the IS-7, he bounces every shot and he snapshots everything across the map. All this really fancy stuff seems to be disabled when I play because the gun won't hit the broadside of a barn and my armor is useless. Everyone penetrates it even when I'm held down. So yeah, it sort of seems to work for MrFabulouz though. He's got 3 gun marks on the IS-7, which lets me know that he's really good at this tank and he knows how to use it. So I was pretty eager to actually watch this match and see what he does with it, because obviously I'm playing it wrong or something. So he is asking his AMX 1375 guy on the hill to actually spot something because they're getting shot in the side, can't see what's up there. Well, they've got a scout there. And all the super heavies on his team are here in the middle of the field where Artie can hit them. Fabulouz puts a really nice shot into that IS-7 at a really unfavorable angle, so quite surprised that the one penetrated. And this ginormous Japanese heavy is in the middle of the field. Don't know why he would go there. It's not like his tank is really small or easy to miss, so I would choose a slightly different position. But MrFabulouz putting some really effective fire into the enemy tanks. So there we go, first kill, 1500 damage that we've seen. And at this point he's just trying to evade Artie because Artie's focusing on him. And they've got a T-54 light behind him, which is the best player on their team. So it would be wise not to let that guy out of his sight too much. Now he asks the 1375 on the hill, could you actually spot? I mean, you're pretty useless there. So 1375 moves up and starts to spot, which is good and surprising because that normally never happens. But what normally does happen is that spotting apparently means suiciding off the hill instead of actually just poking, spotting the tanks and pulling back. So while he did indeed spot tanks, it was one of the more useless uses of his tank. A little bit unfortunate, but yeah, again they're blind, and yeah, three friendly tanks are basically camping on the back of the hill, being completely useless. Meanwhile, MrFabulouz here is trying to dodge shots from 3 sides at once. There's an E100 in front of him, as we can see. There's another one on the other side of the ridge. He puts a nice shot into the E100 and pulls back. He needs to keep moving, but because there's 2 RTs in this match, and if they've got XVM installed, we know who they're going to go for. So, despite the guys on his right, he goes up the hill, doesn't have a shot, unfortunately, pulls back, and Type 4 heavy behind him was killed. Not really surprising. But we can see there the T110 E5 and the other 2 guys are they're basically doing nothing. They can't spot anything, they're just sitting there. And while that spot is really good if the enemy is aggressively pushing the middle, it isn't if you're not doing anything. MrFabulouz, meanwhile, 3rd kill, kills the T-54 blind, was aiming for the IS-7. That means that there's just an IS-7 there, and there's 3 friendly tanks on the hill. So, I don't know, maybe move. I mean, it's just one IS-7 on half health. And MrFabulouz is sort of starting to lose his patience with this team, and I can completely imagine why. Because a tier 10 tank, a tier 10 heavy tank in a tier 10 match should not be full health in this kind of engagement anymore. Luckily, MrFabulouz managed to kill the best tank on their team, or the best player on their team, and then tries to get a shot into the IS-4, but gets spotted and shot out by the IS-7 on the hill, and still his teammates are not moving. Because reasons. And I mean, it's stuff like this that just really grinds people's gears. I mean, it's just dumb. Obviously 100 shooting heat, so penetrates, but MrFabulouz shooting premium ammo himself blasts through the front of the 100 turret, so can't really complain about that. But he had to make a move because he was just getting shot from the hill and losing damage for no reason. So he just basically moved himself out of the dangerous situation, which is completely the right thing to do. Because there's no use losing your health for people who play like tomatoes. As you can see, statistically they aren't, but they are playing like tomatoes. Time to move up. There was an M103 here, and there we can see the enemy T-92 artillery, but at the same time the M103 moves up, and MrFabulouz decides to put a shot into the M103. And at this point he's caught in a bit of an unfortunate situation, because you've got a heavy in front of him, an arty behind him, and as it turns out another arty at his side. He does the right thing, kills the arty first, because arty, especially a Lorraine one, can do some nice damage over time. M103 decides to YOLO, and then decides not to YOLO. Fabulouz puts a shot into the turret, and at this point I'm really wondering why that T-92 arty is not shooting MrFabulouz on the engine deck, because that's the world's easiest shot ever. And he's not a dumb player, so, or a statistically good player. He is a little bit dumb because he's not even aiming in this direction, even though he's got the perfect shot. So that basically lost them the match. Because now MrFabulouz is free to engage this M103 pretty much without opposition. Well, there is some opposition, but it's stinging off his ass. So snaps a shot into the M103 cupola and then turns around to face the T-69, who, contrary to popular playstyle, is not shooting heat in that time. So that's good. And MrFabulouz is moving up. And he's telling the team what he thinks of them, and in that situation he is absolutely right, because he's had to do pretty much all the damage, all the spotting, everything, because his team was pretty much useless. And as we can see, there were 3 of his heavies on the hill, and they've all melted, they've lost, and that stupid IS-7 is still alive. So how did they manage that? I mean, that's just mind-bogglingly stupid crap. But anyway, 9 kills, and he's got a Carnivan with him. Arty, instead of using the tracks to get away from the IS-7, decides to just sit in the open and get killed. So yeah, great decision making all around, which was just really surprising from the statistically quite good players on his team. So 700 HP left and a full health Carnivan, and he already talked with Carnivan a little bit to have him please do some tanking, because MrFabulouz can only receive 2 shots, and the Carnivan, being one of the few very good actual players on this match, says, yeah, I'll do the tanking. So Fabulouz setting up for an ambush shot, but unfortunately the IS-7 already passed over the ridge. So Fabulouz moves in to support him. But the IS-7, having a massive hard-on for MrFabulouz all match long, completely ignores the Carnivan and snaps one into MrFabulouz. I guess he was really angry that Fabulous scratched this paintwork earlier or something, because as you'll see in a moment, he doesn't want to shoot the Carnival at all. So MrFabulouz says go, it's time to move, shoots another one into that IS-7, and then the Carnival is slightly undecided but moves up. So Fabulous is just waiting because he doesn't want to catch this shot, but the enemy IS-7 doesn't give a shit and doesn't want to actually shoot the Carnival. He wants to kill MrFabulouz instead of actually doing something. So yeah, great gameplay all around by these green players. And the Carnival is being really good in trying to shield MrFabulouz here. And Badchat is being even more useless in the chat. This is just a little bit of a hilarious situation. The IS-7 just blatantly refuses to fire. So at some point, Fabulous says just go flank him and kill him because, yeah. And still the IS-7 is aiming for him, so yeah. I mean, tomato play around everywhere. So, Carnival, well done. You at least tried. And MrFabulouz, absolutely splendid work in the IS-7. 3 gun barrels, I can see why. Ace Tanker Badge, Bradley Walters for killing 8 tanks. A Steel Wall, High Caliber Tank Sniper, and Top Gun. And let's see, 6,500 damage that we've seen, but it's 7,700 in total. So yeah, completely awesome match in the IS-7. I'm glad I recorded this one in time. And if you have any more, just send them. Sorry I didn't record the E100 one. It probably was an epic one as well. And see you guys next time.